So we've now spent around 10 to 15 hours in Test Drive, and I'm going to show you and at least explain everything you need to know about this game. Now, Test Drive has not been out for many years. If you're an OG of the Test Drive franchise, you know full well I was quite excited for this game, to be honest. I felt like it had that ability to come back on the market and join the likes of Forza, of Need for Speed, of Gran Turismo, and all of the best racing games that we've seen. And to be honest, I expected better, but also I kind of didn't expect too much from it as well. I thought as a game that, to be honest, most people can't actually do too right with games anymore. It seems to be that the expectation just is never met. And that's kind of the realistic factor of it. You don't really get a game nowadays that just pops off with racing. You get certain aspects that are nice, but in terms of the whole feel of a racing game, I just feel like sometimes it's either too arcadey, too simulated, too much heavy on the story, or just repetitive races constantly. Now, obviously, with the start of Test Drive, you are starting in Hong Kong. The whole area has got a few different areas you can go into, and the kind of beauty that you can do with Test Drive, like a lot of the open world racing games, is the fact that you can drive wherever you like. All of the roads are unlockable. You may not be able to beat everybody in each races, and some require different vehicles. For instance, the off-road kind of races, they will be unlocked as you progress through the campaign, as we call it, the season, the levels, whatever you want to call it. Now, obviously, all the roads are completely locked off to start with, and you have actually got to race, or at least drive, on every single road to unlock 100% discovery. Now, most of the time, you will pretty much get up there into the 70, 80, 90% if you complete every single race. So obviously, if you go through the whole campaign, the whole missions, all of the races, no matter what type they are, you should get a solid amount done. And obviously doing all of the speed traps and all of the different kind of missions and different side quests that you can do, you should do quite a lot of the map just from playing the game. So I wouldn't necessarily go around unlocking every single road straight away. I'd definitely be doing it in a faster car as well. To be honest, you might as well pick up some 3-star speed traps whilst you're doing it, but it is one of the advantages you do get is the fact you can physically go anywhere you want. That's kind of a nice start to it. Now, when it comes to Test Drive, the big thing to start with is going to be your level, your reputation. You've also got a clan that you join between the Sharp clan, and then you also have the ability to potentially join the other side of it, which is going to be the Street clan. So these two are kind of battling it out. As you can imagine, you know the difference between the two. You've got the luxurious racer builds versus the drifting, the street rats, the ones with the cars that are souped up to the nines, and you've got to get some clan influence. Once then, you've got different kind of clan members that you'll be able to race against, race battle, race with, and it is that kind of almost like a membership feel where you've got kind of your crew versus somebody else. The reputation itself will unlock more bonuses, more cars, and also give you the ability to eventually drive into the Bugatti. So as you'll see on screen, you can kind of see the Solar Crown reputation. You've obviously got the end of the driver selection phase, the workshop, the experience, visit clan. You've then got cross country, the competition begins, workshop upgrade, new arrivals, which will be the supercars at level 30. You then get an upgrade workshop at level 35. Ferraris and Lamborghinis come at 40. You've got the Elite Workshop at 45, Hypercars at 50, and the Crown Jewels at 55. So it is a progression of unlocking, really. As much as it says reputation, it might as well be your unlockable guide, because that's kind of where the end meets. When it comes to the clan influence, to be honest, you just keep going up. There's not necessarily a major bonus for doing it and not doing it. Now, you've obviously got to get it up anyway, because you'll go into clan races and that will give you XP as you go forward. When it comes to the objective side of stuff, I find myself a bit wandering at times. You kind of do quite a decent amount of primary tasks to start with. You've obviously got to get into the campaign and they set the scene for you. But once you've kind of passed level 15, at the moment from 15 to 18, I've currently just got secondary tasks. And as much as that's not terrible, it does give you different things to do. And it's not just necessarily racing constantly. It's maybe doing speed traps. It's spending 250 kilometers in a vehicle of cross-country category. There's a lot of different things you can do that will unlock reputation, clan influence, it'll give you cash rewards, stickers, and all that other stuff, which is at least semi-decent in the game. It will also give you completed tasks as well, which you can do, and to be honest, you're kind of just left to it, to be fair. And yes, you can restart races, you can obviously finish them, and just start them again, and earn XP that way as well. It's the one thing that I'm finding can be a little bit frustrating. Maybe you've got a race that you're just trying to finish off, and maybe you've not quite got the car down to a T for it, or potentially you're just not at that level yet. Your driving ability needs to be increased, and you find yourself sometimes having to do a few of the same races, and as good as that is to be able to do it quite quickly, you can restart twice. So for instance, you finish the race, say you come second and you want to really try and push for that first, or you want to just get some more credits, which is an objective as well, you will be able to then just restart it again and do the exact same, get the exact same reputation, cash rewards from it. And to be honest, I think that's semi-decent, but at the same time, I wish there was kind of a few more races, and as you progress through the campaign, I can imagine more races will unlock. Definitely at level 15, we saw the middle section of the map really popping off, so that is something that you can kind of justify that once you've got to the end, I suppose, yes, you will then potentially see every single race that is available. But right now, if I'm looking across my map, I've done quite a few of the races. There's definitely still some that I could still continue, but most definitely there is an element of just wandering around and hoping something sticks. So I think in terms of a game, the normal value of a game being around about £70, I think that could be understandable for a game like this because it clearly has a lot of work into it. The progression side of it is fluid. It's not necessarily that it is kind of a sideways progression where you're not really going anywhere. I think there's always stuff to unlock, there's always stuff to complete, which is definitely it keeps the game flowing nicely. But when it comes to around the 120 mark, and especially when you're looking at potentially mainly just getting extra bonus cars alongside a lovely little pre-order bonus of a 3-day, 4-day early access, sometimes I think that could be just a little bit too much out of the cost range, to be honest. I think an £80-90 with these car cosmetics and then potentially the early access, I could think that's fine, but the fact that most of the cars that you do get from early access, you've got to wait till level 15, 20 and 25 to be able to actually even use them. They're in your garage, but you can't use them until you've hit that level. That already is stopping the progression of why do I need this pre-order? Because clearly I would be able to afford these cards by the time I get to there. And I know technically you don't have to actually buy them, which is nice, but the fact that you can't use them straight away, even just as a drive around, I could understand not being able to use them in the race straight away, that is fair enough, but not being able to even drive them around, it's kind of like it forces you to go to that level, which for me, I think as a pre-order bonus of £120 might be that little bit too expensive in my opinion. But that's everything I've kind of gathered from the first 10 to 15 hours of kind of casually playing it. We went around the map a little bit. Seems at least a semi-decent map, to be honest, and it's got a very good distance on it. Races seem quite fluid. Sometimes I'm not a big fan of the collision side where you can't necessarily knock a car out of its kind of direction. I understand it and I think it's okay, but sometimes the way that you can overtake people when you can't, well, you can just slingshot yourself off them, it's not necessarily my side of racing. But let me know how you feel about it, and I'll catch you all for the next one.